On our previous lesson, we talked about creating our sentence starter. The first part of R.A.C.E is read and restate the question, and we have done that and come up with a sentence starter. Now it is time to do the second piece of R.A.C.E, which is the A, answer the question. So if our question is, how does Foster's idea of communion or vampirism contribute to the relaying of the theme of the text, what do we need to do in order to answer the question? Well, the first thing is, what is the answer? Well, how do we know that? We need to go back to the very beginning when we talked about trying to figure out where communion was at in Beauty and the Beast, which this is what we were answering in one piece. Now, if you're choosing, when you go on your own with the Scarlet Letter, to answer the question based on vampirism, then you need to go back to that portion. But because I'm doing communion, I'm going to look at communion in Beauty and the Beast. What I'm looking for is a place where communion drives the plot. So where does communion drive the plot? And I'm going to think about that for a second. So basically, I can think of multiple places in the story where there are communion scenes or a lack of communion scenes. There's the first scene where she refuses to eat with him, and it seems to strain the relationship. Then after she's rescued from the wolves, and there's that song about how there's something there that wasn't there before. There's multiple meal scenes in there where they do successfully commune. And so we're seeing the relationship morph almost through several meal scenes. So what I'm going to write here is that meal scenes show the relationship changing over time. Another big thing that I think about is one of the meal scenes in the song when they've been outside playing in the snow, now they're inside, and he is eating his porridge, only he is making a horrible mess. He's eating it like a dog. There's porridge all over the table, and it shows the servants looking horribly just aghast, like, oh my gosh. They look at him and kind of push the spoon at him and are like, eat with the spoon. You're human. You know you're in beast form. They attempt to do so, and it's just, he's like, and it's disgusting. And then he looks up and looks at Belle. Belle had 1,000 options that she could have done. Most of us would have been like, ew, or we would have left the room, or to made some kind of a comment that would have made him feel upset, which really and truly, had she done that, would have probably damaged the relationship. But instead, she doesn't even make a face. She just kind of takes the porridge, holds it up, like cheers, and then she begins to drink it, because that is something that she knows that Beast can do. And in doing that, she's finding a way to relate to him. Instead of reacting to him in a mean way, she is reacting to him in kindness. She's being empathetic, showing that she understands where he's coming from. And because she does that, and he sees her as someone that is kind to her, and she's kind to him, and they build trust, and he is able to go out there and attempt to do things that he hasn't tried to do in years. Like later on, he's going to dance with her. And you slowly watch that even though the spell isn't broken yet, the Beast becomes more and more human just through interaction with Belle and her kindness. So if I'm looking at that and I'm watching the kind of how the plot goes through that, I can clearly see a theme. And that theme is simply the fact that Belle's kindness allows the Beast to change. So what I can say is that kindness, I can spell it, or let me see, we like to change things. Kindness gives others the courage to change. You have to wonder what would have happened if Belle had reacted with disgust and run out of the room, or if Belle had been disturbed by what he did. How would that have changed? I think it would have been a large change for the situation. So now we have the way it draws plot, and now we have a theme. So we should be able to answer the question. We're going to go back and look at the sentence starter, and from there we should be able to answer the question fully now. So moving on. What is the full statement with my answer? After what is the answer? You answer the answer. The second part is, what is the full statement with my answer? So we add our answer to the original sentence starter. And it was, Foster's idea of communion contributes to the theme of being the beast by. Now here's one problem that I see with that is we're going to have to find a way to put the theme into this sentence because that's a big part of it. If we don't provide theme, it's going to be very hard to show how the theme is created. So we're going to have to find a way to inject the theme into it. So I'm going to rewrite the sentence just a little bit. And once again, we are kind of looking at this as a rough draft. So I'm more worried about getting my ideas on paper, and then I can play with them later to make it sound better if I need to. So I'm going to put Foster's idea of communion contributes to Beauty and the Beast's theme. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it like a positive, and I'm going to put that theme in there. And that our theme was, I'm going to go back and look at what I put. Kindness gives others the courage to change. By, and now I'm looking at what I've got here, by showing how Belle's kindness affects Beast over time. Okay, so Foster's idea of communion contributes to the Beauty and the Beast's theme. Kindness gives others the courage to change by showing how Belle's kindness affects Beast over time. So this is basically my theme statement, and it answers the question. So I have my read the question and restate it as a sentence starter. I have done that. And as you see, it doesn't always stay the same because I had my theme and I had my answer, but I felt like the sentence starter that I created originally was not going to do a good job in relaying everything I had to relay. So I went back and I made small tweaks to it. And that is normal. You're going to do that. But now I've done it. So what I want to do is now let's let you practice with Kitty and Mac. You're going to pick either communion or vampirism and do these same steps. You should be writing these steps down. If I wrote it or it's typed out on this model, it needs to be on your notes so that you understand the thinking process. Because most of these are not questions that are related just to Beauty and the Beast. So they will work with any text that you use. Use these questions, follow the steps, and complete it. Once you're done, you'll go into Canvas and turn in just this statement. I will look at it, let you know if it's correct or not, and if you got that part down, we'll move on to the next part. And idea is that slowly over time, you will create your own paragraph by the time this is over. So, good luck, and I look forward to seeing your work.